A common issue every F8x owner probably knows about is the oil cooler getting bent, and ever since I've lowered this car, I have had a bit of oil cooler anxiety. The previous owner managed to bend it but standard height, so I'm a little bit worried about that. So in this video, we're going to replace the bent oil cooler with a CSF one, and then show you how to protect that oil cooler from getting bent again in the future with a full line oil cooler guard. I'm back behind the camera and Aston's going to give you a bit more of a technical reason about why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, cool. So you obviously told them what we're going to change, but we need to know why we're going to change it. The main reason obviously is because yours is already bent, so it has been caught. Obviously now you've lowered it, you've got even more of a chance of hitting it because it's even closer to the floor. But of course this plastic under tray isn't always going to protect it the best.
Yeah, it's ironic almost that you can see that's where it's actually bent it, is because it's touched the plastic tray and pushed it up into the oil cooler.
Yeah, I mean, of course, if you hit it again, this isn't very thick metal. So if you hit it again and it does split, you're going to end up losing oil, which is obviously your engine oil. And if your engine oil runs dry out the engine, then it's kind of the inevitable, the engine is going to go bang. So it's a good idea to change this over. One, because it's bent to prevent it getting any more damage, and two, because we're going to uprate it anyway, and then we can put a better protector underneath it. So to fix that and stop any further issues, we're going to replace it with these two parts. One of which is the CSF Oil Cooler. Now the cooler, as you can see, has its own guard already, but that's mainly for like stone chips and stuff like that, so it won't be that strong to protect it from like a large hit, but it will prevent the majority of them. And then to protect that even more, we've got the full line under tray, which is going to go underneath, obviously made out of metal, so it's a lot stronger. Still has the holes so you can get the cooling to the oil cooler, so it can still do its job, but it's going to prevent any large hits underneath like what Matt's already had on the plastic one.
Yeah, and the other thing is the wheels are off, which I don't believe is part of this job.
That isn't to do with this job. I'm not that bad of a mechanic that have to strip wheels off just to get to an oil cooler at the front, but that's because you're changing the wheels over. So we're going to get them put back on when the wheels come back with a new tyre.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how those, but first things first, let's strip out all the damaged bent bits and we'll go from there.
So that's the old one off, and as you can see, very clearly bent, and it is also covered in dirt and dust, which means that it is not letting any air through and probably won't be doing a lot of cooling. So that's also another good reason to, even if you're not changing it, it's maybe worth dropping it down just to clear out any dirt and debris on top. I'm now going to fit the CSF oil cooler, and then obviously to stop it from becoming a banana like the old one, we're going to be fitting the full line guard. Now the full line guard, to do its job properly, does have to be fitted very securely, so they provide you with all this hardware. The hardware enables us to mount the guard to the standard frame, which means it's going to be a lot more rigid, it's not going to go anywhere, and it will handle anything that Matt wants to try and run over.
It's been a couple of weeks since the initial install, and I have to say my oil cooler anxiety is all but gone now. And it's really nice to have not only the CSF oil cooler replacing that original one that was bent, but also the Fall Line oil cooler guard. It's made out of 2.5mm stainless steel, and you can already see it has been doing its job. Things like speed bumps, bits in areas where you're not too sure where you're going, and especially at night, it kind of catches you out. It's nice to know that you can feel this going touching the ground, like through the chassis, so it's really securely mounted. And it's just nice to know that it's actually doing its job and protecting the oil cooler from any potential damage. With the oil cooler all finished up, it's time to move on to something a little bit more fun, and that is the Titan 7 wheels. So I went for the TS7 in 19-inch, 9.5, 10.5. It's a forged wheel. It's made specifically for the platform, so the offsets are pretty much bang on. They're roughly the same sitting in the arch as the standard wheels were with the spacers that we fitted in the last video. And wheel weight wise, they're roughly the same as the 437Ms, which tech came off. And I do like them as a design, but I'm not mad on the black and diamond cut, and the finish was starting to go. So rather than refurb them, I thought, why not try a different wheel? And I wanted to go for something nice and bright and silver to kind of lift the whole car, because it's quite a dark car. And I think it's worked really well, but you can't really tell that up in the air. So let's get the car on the ground and I'll show you how it really looks. So that's the new look for my M4, and I've got to say I'm really happy with the outcome. The Titan TS7 in iridium silver has brought quite a classic feel to the car, sort of almost taking back to kind of an E46 M3 CSL in a way. And I think it really complements the pre-LCI nature of this car, and also being a non-competition, the bright silver wheels tie together all the chrome trims. And the Evolve lowering springs have got this sitting really nicely, and I've driven it a few hundred miles since fitting the setup, and I have to say that it hasn't rubbed once, even with some pretty big bumps. So I'm really happy with how that's all come together. So for now, I think this look might be pretty much there, but I understand it's quite a personal style to me. Let me know down in the comments, what would you have done differently?
Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you liked the video, please remember to smash that like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. If you want to join the conversation, please drop a comment below and we'll try our best to respond to you. If you want to watch more of this project, you can do so over here. If you want to watch what YouTube thinks you might like from our other content, you can do so over here.